Okay, so now I want you to grab a little sponge brush. I keep a lot of these on hand. They're pretty inexpensive, and I just think they really do the trick without hurting any of the other brushes. And then I have some gesso here. And what we're going to do is take our piece of chipboard here, and I'm just going to dip in, and I'm going to get a good glob onto the sponge brush, and you just want to very messily apply it. I didn't want to cover my edges because I want when I do the paint and stuff, I want it to be a little bit darker, and without the gesso to prep it, there's just going to be a little bit different deepening of the color on the edges. So again, just messily apply that and then set that aside. Whoa! And here's the second page. Now you might want to have a craft mat down. I have a very cool surface that I can just really wipe clean and nothing kind of sticks to it. So I tend to not use the craft mat because I'm pretty messy and I can't stay on it anyway. I can color in the lines, but I guess I can't keep paint within the lines. So here's the next page. Let's see here. And you're going to want to do both sides of the chipboard pages. We're going to be adding paper and doing some fun detail work, but this just gives a fun little extra bit of texture and interest to the pages once we get the stamps and the paint and the photos on there. So, okay, almost finished here. Okay. Now make sure you do both sides, and then okay, so now we have our two pre-gessoed chipboard pages, and we're ready to mist and get some personality down on these pages. I like to put two of them together. It just, not that it makes it go faster, but I can kind of see how things are going to coordinate, and you can just kind of build two pages at once. And for the rest of this class, I'm really going to mainly only work on these two pages because it's all about showing you the technique that you can put into the pages. Rather than building the whole album itself, but I will show you all the finished pages once we're all finished. And you'll be able to get a glimpse at the end of this video, and I think you saw some pages at the beginning of the coordinating pages, because as long as you're using the same technique on the pages itself, then they're all going to coordinate together. So what I have is some Shimmerz products here. I have Vibes in Jenny B. Blue. I have colorings right here in Lime into Coconut. I have colorings in Pink Stiletto and colorings in No Yoking. And again, this album is really about putting you into it. So you pick the kind of colors that really speak to you. And as long as you keep them as a constant throughout your pages, it'll look just great. So I'm going to use Jenny B. Blue Vibes first. Slide these out of the way. And I don't have a craft mat down because, like I said before, I'm kind of sloppy and messy, and I just kind of wipe it up. So just kind of randomly spritz on the pages here. Okay. And I want a little bit of a purple mix in there, so instead of using my heat gun to dry, I'm going to go ahead and spritz a little bit of the Pink Stiletto colorings, just to get a little bit more purple hue in there. Okay, I'm going to use my wipe here, lift these up just a bit so I can clean up my surface area. And it's going to dry pretty quickly on the gesso. If you're super impatient sometimes, I will heat it with a heat gun, but I kind of like the way it naturally dries, so I like to just leave it for just a little bit. Okay, and now I think I'm going to bring in some of the lime into coconut, and I'm really going to concentrate on the edges and maybe the middle right there. Okay. And you can kind of pick it up here, let's see, and swipe it again so we're not getting it on any of our clothes or anything like that. I just love this desk, it just wipes off. Okay. And you can see how distressed that looks right there. Now, while that is drying, I'm going to take my paintbrush, and what I want to do is go around the edge with color also, just to bring in a little bit more oomph into the pages. And because we left the chipboard uncovered by the Just Win paint to begin with, you can see that it's, you know, still got its natural color. Well, we're going to deepen that, and it's just going to look a little bit more burnt, a little bit more raw and edgy once we cover it up. So I'm going to use Shimmerz in magenta. And when you're using the Shimmerz paints, make sure that you use something to stir it up real good. You want to get all that glitter and goodness all mixed in there. And because I don't want to waste any paint, I might start with just that edge and just kind of wipe it on there real quick. Okay. I'll dip it in. And this, again, you're just going to be messy. I just want to put a little bit of coat, hide a little bit of the edges there. I love the shine that it brings to the pages if you just kind of add this in, because it's got all that glitter and shimmer in it. You want to just kind of bring it along the edges. You can bring it into the page if you want a little bit. Again, this is just really about having some fun and making a little art and making it a little bit you. So whatever you want to do. I have also in the past used credit cards. I love to use credit cards to apply my paint in the streaks. So we'll keep on going here. Now the longer you let the paint dry, in between adding the layers of paint, the more variance you're going to get and the less muddying. I wanted to give it a little bit of a blending, kind of a mixing, so I don't mind a little bit of the muddy effect in through here, because I think it's really going to give this album a little bit of character and make it just seem a little bit more distressed. Okay, going around the edge. Now you certainly don't have to go around the whole edge of each page. I just want to give a little bit more pop of color before we add our other elements. And we're going to add some patterned paper in here, and then we're going to print a couple of photos, kind of whatever photos you want for your art album or for your art journal. And we're going to print those on some watercolor paper, and instead of using watercolor, we are going to paint with Shimmerz, just to give it a hint of color. Okay, I think I'm good there. Now put your paintbrush in some water and cover that Shimmerz up. Okay, and that's what we have right there. So we're going to go ahead and let those dry. And then as soon as these are dried, in the next video we're going to distress it with some stamps and some paper. So we'll be back in just a second.